there are a lot of things out of your control when it comes to your arrival day. And to me, it's just not worth the risk of losing half or potentially a full park day when you pay for that ticket. We made this mistake with our kiddos last year because you're paying too much money to be overtired and overstressed. So planning a trip to Walt Disney World with your family can feel overwhelming and stressful, and nothing is worse than starting your trip off on the wrong foot. Travel day for your Disney vacation is huge because it's what starts all the momentum for the rest of your trip. So today we're chatting about mistakes that I've made so you can avoid them, and then other tips to plan for a successful start to your Disney vacation. Hey, I'm Kinsey, a Disney loving mama and travel agent who helps families tailor their vacations to fit their budget, pace, and personalities. All right, let's jump right in on how to set yourself up to have a successful travel day to Walt Disney World. Before you even travel, the first thing I would suggest that you do is just making sure everything that you actually need is aligned before you go. So I do have a couple planning videos that I've posted. I'll link those below for you to check out if you're interested in. But that being said, a couple suggestions would be definitely have your airport transportation lined out. You don't want to arrive and then figure out how you're going to get to your resort, i.e., know ahead of time how you are getting from MCO to your Disney resort and back, even when it is time for you to leave, so that that is already aligned and scheduled out for you. There are lots of options when it comes to this. There's Mears Connect, which is more of a shuttle. There's Away We Go, which is like good for slightly bigger families, as it's about 11, 12 passenger van and it's private transportation. There's obviously Uber and Lyft, but then there's other sorts of private transportations too, which I know a lot of mamas and families love because you can set up to have a car seat ready for you in that private transportation, so you don't necessarily have to worry about bringing a car seat with you. Another thing that I would highly suggest lining out is what you're doing for your stroller scenario. I do suggest considering some sort of stroller if your kid is 8 or below. I know 8 probably seems a little old. My niece is 8 and she never gets in a stroller, but I will tell you that there is no tired like Disney tired, and they're going to be doing so much walking. So just considering what you're going to do about a stroller situation. Are you going to bring your own? Are you going to rent one? Which is one why I would have that lined out ahead of time, because you can pick them up from the airport or have them drop them off, meet you at your Disney resort. Whatever your plan is, those are two things I would highly suggest having lined up ahead of time, so that when you do get to MCO and you're ready to head to your Disney resort to start that Disney vacation, those two things specifically are already taken care of. My first big tip for your travel day is to have a plan. Obviously, when it comes to having a plan, you always need to be flexible, maybe have a backup or a plan B, because during your whole Disney vacation, things are going to go awry from time to time. So it's huge that you have a couple backup options to things and or are willing to be flexible. But overall, for your travel day, have a plan. The biggest reason that you want to have a plan is, one, obviously you don't want to show up and just be like, all right, what do we do? Yes, a go with the flow day can be good, or having just a loose plan can be good. But one of the biggest reasons you need to have a plan is because even though you can check in on the My Disney Experience app to your resort, you have no idea when your room is going to be ready. I've had my room be ready almost immediately after we checked in, like 10 a.m. I've had it ready around midday, and then I have counted on it being ready early or midday, and it hasn't been ready until 3 or 4. And they do say check-in time's about 3, I believe, at most resorts, 3 or 4. So that's normal check-in time. But if you have an early flight in, i.e., a lot of the times we're arriving to Orlando around 9:30. That can make for a long day if you're planning on getting into your room to do something in your room, and then you don't have your room until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. My biggest tip when making a plan for your arrival day is to avoid the parks. Obviously, if you are tight on time, tight on budget, which makes you tight on time, maybe you want to do the park, but I would really, really suggest trying to find a way to not plan on parks when you arrive. The biggest reason for this is there are a lot of things out of your control when it comes to your arrival day. Your flight could be delayed, which doesn't get you there on time. It could be delayed 30 minutes, it could be delayed 2 hours. You never know. And then when you get there, there could be, especially if you were already delayed, then there might be delays in the transportation you were planning on. There might be delays in your luggage. I know we've had a scenario where we were planning on a park day. We showed up, we were on time, and then the baggage claim got like stuck, messed up, or something. And we were waiting on our bags for literally an hour. Then it took our transportation a little bit longer because we kind of had to check in and move some stuff around with them because we were later than we were expecting. And then we didn't miss our park day that day, but we had a lot less park time than we planned on for, I believe that park was Animal Kingdom that day. You could potentially miss almost your whole park day, depending on what your delays are. Or if you're planning on almost a full day because you're like, oh, we'll be at a resort by 11 a.m., that may not be the case, and you might not be back to your resort until 1 or 2. If you get to the parks at 3 and it's like an Animal Kingdom day, then you only have about 4 to 5 hours left. And that is a lot of precious park time that you just spent money for that ticket and now you have lost it. So, my biggest tip to you is if you can, avoid a park on arrival day because unfortunately you just don't know what's going to happen. And to me, it's just not worth the risk of losing half or potentially a full park day when you paid for that ticket. One thing you can consider on your arrival day, especially if you're planning to travel to Walt Disney World this summer, is a Walt Disney World water park. So this summer with the Cool Kids Summer offer, part of that is within that date range, you actually get the free entry into one of the Disney water parks on your arrival day. So this is awesome because it makes for the perfect arrival day plan. Yes, I know you're like, well, you just said not to go to a park. One, it's free and it's on arrival day only, so it's your only day you can use it and you're not paying for it. So even if you're planning to get there at 10 when it opens because your flight's supposed to land at 8:45 and you're going to go straight there, if you get delayed a couple hours and you can't get there until noon or 1, then you still have a few hours and you still got to do that water park and take advantage of time there for that free perk that was already included. Outside the summer, you could still look at the water parks if maybe you want to buy a ticket. But again, if you're purchasing the ticket yourself, I'm not sure you want to risk not having a lot of time there. So I would maybe look at just some pool time at your resort or even exploring other resorts. And we'll talk about some other fun options as well because there is a lot to Walt Disney World outside of the parks themselves. The next tip I have after your plan is once you have a plan, make sure you're prepared for it. And what I mean by that is, let's say that you're planning to go to the water park or you're planning to visit your resort pool. Have a pool bag fully ready, even if it's still in your suitcase just on the top, or it's something that if you're checking a stroller, you've carried it around on your stroller, you've used it as your personal item. I don't know, but have it packed and ready to go so that when you get to the resort, your room is not ready, which most of the time it's probably not going to be, special. Like I should say, if you're flying in early, like we do for your arrival day, it's most likely not going to be. You can leave your bags with Bell Services, and they will deliver those to your room once it's ready. So you don't have to lug them around all day and you can enjoy some other things. So having your pool bag or whatever you plan on doing bag ready for a quick grab and go so that you have everything, you can still leave your bags, and then you can go have your fun is essential. We totally screwed this up on our December trip because it was just my husband and I. We weren't doing the pool. We were just going to do some resort hopping. And so I was like, oh, there's not much to pack. There's not much to consider. And I just left. Well, I should say my husband and I just left with our bags at Bell Services. I had my crossbody. I was like, I got my phone. I got my wallet. We're going to lunch and resort hopping. I'm good. And then it started to rain, and the ponchos were in the backpack that I left with Bell Services. And then my phone started to die, and the portable charger that I had was in the bag with Bell Services. So just planning ahead for those types of things so that you have everything you need to have that fun around your arrival day is key. The last tip I have on top of making a plan and being prepared for that plan is plan for an early bedtime. I know you're like, what fun is that? We just got to Walt Disney World. We want to have some fun. But one, if you're not doing a park day, it shouldn't be hard to not close down the park because you're not there. And two, you have a full week of Disney fun ahead of you. And I promise you, after traveling all day and getting ready for a week of fun, especially if you are traveling with kiddos, you are going to want to take advantage of an early bedtime so that you can start your week off with as much rest as possible to be prepared for the week ahead. And you're going to get tired. You're going to get that Disney tired. So get that sleep the first night while you can. Get rested and prepared for a week of fun. Next, we have a couple bonus tips because these apply, but they don't necessarily apply year round. The first bonus tip is if you're going during a party season, so Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, avoid parties the night of your arrival day. And I know you're like, yeah, that's the same tip you just said, don't go to the parks, but hear me out. The park is typically open the length of the day until like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night or whatever their closing time is that time of year. Whereas the parties don't start until 7 and you can't get in until 4, and then they go later, like 12 o'clock. So you might be thinking, okay, we're more than likely not going to be pushed back so far that we couldn't make a 7 o'clock special events party. And you know what? You're probably right. Maybe you can make it. Maybe you wouldn't get delayed all day long. But one, if you were delayed all day long, you probably are going to want to go to sleep by the end of that day. And two, if you've been traveling, if you woke up early, you are going to be so tired. We have done this twice. And the first time was with my niece when she was 6. That was the biggest mistake of the two because we had a kiddo with us. So if you have kiddos, definitely avoid this. They're going to be so tired. We went to the party. We did get in early, like between 4 and 5 when we could, but we were walking out of the parks when the fireworks started, which means there was still like 2 to 2.5 hours left of the party that we just missed because we were way too tired. She was way too tired to even experience the rest. So it felt like we really didn't get our money's worth. And then we did this again this past December. And I will say it was better. We were able to take a cat nap before, and then it was just the two of us. But we still didn't get to do the last parade that we planned on doing, and we didn't make it till midnight, but we did make it later. So overall, I would just avoid doing a party on the night you arrive if you can. And if you've got your length of stay lined out and those party dates come out as far as the schedule goes, try to find one that does not align with your arrival day because trust me, you're going to have more fun if it doesn't. Another bonus tip. I know I said the water park's free entry on arrival day for the summer is the perfect arrival day activity, and I stand by that. But one tip that I want to give you is that if you plan on doing some resort pool time and some water park time, do not plan on your resort time first and then go into the water park. We made this mistake with our kiddos last year because in 2025, the water park entry was for any package throughout the year. So we were arriving in February and we were like, you know what? We are going to get there, do the resort pool. We'll most likely get our room early, take a quick nap with the girls, then go to the water park for a couple hours and have some fun. However, we did not get our room ready until like 3:30, and the water parks close early. They close at like 5 o'clock, and the girls hadn't had a nap, and we had a 5 a.m. flight that day. So safe to say we did not go to the water park because by the time we got our room, they needed a nap. Like there was just no way that we could do anything else. We could leave the resort without them getting a nap. And so we just lost our water park time and we weren't able to do that. So what we should have done was flipped the two. Like I said, had that pool bag ready to go, hopped on a bus over to the water park, came back, then we could take a nap, and our resort pool is open till way later at night. So we could have done an hour or two at the resort pool after that, since it doesn't close at 5 like the water park does. So that's just a bonus tip from one of our mistakes. in our learning. So the last thing I want to touch on is what to actually do for your rival day if you're not going to do a park like I'm suggesting, because some people might be like, oh, well, we're there. We want to get as much park time as possible anyways. We're going to go straight to a park. And if that's what you want to do and you want to risk that and you want to start with that go, 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 go mentality, by all means do it. But one, like I say in some of my previous videos, if you've seen those, you're paying too much money to be overtired and overstressed. So you're going to get your money's worth more if you take some breaks and explore Walt Disney World as a whole to really encompass all the magic. And two, there's just so much else to do. So, start your park day on your first full day. Take it a little easier on your travel day so it's less stressful. You're not like, oh, we got to go to the park. We need to hurry. Our transportation needs to hurry. We got to get our bags. Like, I totally know, especially with kids, how stressful that travel day feels. So take some weight off of your shoulders. Just don't plan that park day. That being said, here are some ideas that we like to do on our arrival day, or just some general other suggestions based off of what Disney World has to offer. So, one, like I said, if you're going this summer, I would highly suggest taking advantage of that arrival day free water park entry, because that's something that you don't normally get with just like a 4-day base ticket or a 3-day park hopper ticket. Those water parks aren't included. So having that perk already included in your summer vacation package is super great and something fun that you can take advantage of. Two, like I've mentioned already, is pool time at the resort. A lot of resorts have splash pads, they have multiple pools. There's a lot for you to see and do, and this is just the perfect time to take advantage of the pool at your resort. There's been times that we've gone and we were just like, go, 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 and we haven't even gotten into the pool at our resort. And it just doesn't feel as much. Obviously, it's still Disney, it's still fun, but it doesn't feel as much like a vacation when you can't slow down a bit and even take some time for the pool that you're walking by each day because you haven't slowed down enough to relax and just hop on in there. So, using this for pool time at your resort is great. It's super easy to have your pool bag ready to go. You can change in the bathrooms if your room isn't ready, then put your clothes in the bag that all your pool stuff was in, and then you're good to go. You get to enjoy some pool time. Next idea would be resort exploring. This is one of our favorite things to do. We are a big Skyliner resort family. The first resort I ever stayed at was Pop Century. We've stayed at Art of Animation. I have stayed at Riviera. And the reason I say this is because if you are staying at Pop, Art, Riviera, Caribbean Beach, having that Skyliner access is so great for resort exploring because you can just hop on and go over to the next one, go over to the next one, or you can even take the Skyliner over to Epcot, which gets off right there, and you can go left into Epcot or right over towards the boardwalk and the boardwalk resorts. So you can explore those resorts as well. It makes it super easy. Some resorts are even walking distance from each other, i.e. Pop Century and Art of Animation share the Skyliner hub. So if you're staying at one or the other and you just want to go over and see what's going on in the other one, some of the characters and some of the big displays they have at the other one, it's a perfect time to walk across and go see what they have to offer. I know all the All-Stars are close together. The Port Orleans resorts, there's Port Orleans, French Quarter, and Riverside. You can crisscross on those and even take advantage of the other one's amenities. So just some fun resort exploring there is something that we really like to do because there's so much to do at the different resorts and there's so much to see. Each resort is so different. Like, I highly suggest resort exploring. Next would be Disney Springs. The very first time that we went to Walt Disney World, we didn't even know Disney Springs existed. We were asking for we were asking for more places to get Star Wars merchandise because we didn't like the selections at Hollywood Studios very much. And they were like, yeah, go to Disney Springs. And we were like, what's Disney Springs? So if you don't know, Disney Springs is shopping and dining. It's a big outdoor area with lots of shopping and dining options. So this is a perfect day to take advantage of that, especially if you arrive early. You could almost take advantage of this along with something else. Like if you want to show up, do some pool time, your room gets ready around 2, 3, change, maybe take a quick nap, and then go over to Disney Springs for a couple hours. You could probably still be done by like 7 or 8 and get to bed at a decent time. Or if you don't feel like doing pool time because you already have pool time planned for the week, go to Disney Springs, do some shopping, get some ears, some new ears to kick off your week and wear the rest of the week. Just something fun like that. Disney Springs is a perfect place to do some different things, and they even have like a bowling alley over there, and they have the Lego store, they have T-Rex, they have Rainforest Cafe. So they also have some fun interactive things for you to do as well. I mentioned this slightly before, but you can also go over to Disney's boardwalk. There's multiple resorts there. There's typically activities on the boardwalk. And then one fun thing about the boardwalk as well is you are right next to Epcot. So if you're hanging out on the boardwalk, you could even watch the Epcot fireworks from there, and get to experience that without being in the park. The last thing that I wanted to touch on is just the resort evening activities. So each Disney resort has different evening activities. Typically, there's a schedule that you can find, so it's going to depend on what day you arrive. But different things like campfire activities, they'll have roasting marshmallows, they'll have movies under the stars, which typically is set up near a pool or an area that's just open for kiddos to kind of run around and watch the movie as well. So different things like that is perfect for a low-key arrival day if you do some pool time, rest up, do an early dinner, and then check out one of those activities before going to bed. So overall, this is a friend-to-friend reminder from me to you to think ahead and plan, but also be flexible. Your arrival day should be fun, not stressful. It is setting the tone for the rest of your week. And you do need to remember there's so much that you can't control. So plan ahead for what you can control, and set yourself up to kind of balance it out if you do have some stressful travel time with a less stressful afternoon and evening, and just prepare yourself for the magic of the week ahead. If this was helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Disney planning tips for you and your family. As a reminder, I help all my families tailor the magic specifically to what will maximize the magic for them. So use the link below if you are ready to start planning. Until next time, keep chasing the moments that make your family's magic. Bye.